Thousands of child care centers are facing an uncertain future after pandemic-era federal funding that helped many stay open ended. Marian Rafferty has more on how this could affect working parents.
Millions of kids across the nation are at risk of losing access to daycare centers. This after federal government aid that helped fund more than 200,000 providers expired. The funding was part of a pandemic-era program that helped child care providers keep their doors open. But now some providers could struggle to stay afloat. Those in rural communities could be hit the hardest.
There are so many people that they don't have a grandma or an aunt or a cousin or anybody that can, be a consistent person to watch their child every day.
Many of these centers go beyond just providing education and a safe space for kids while their parents are working.
The ladies here, they do a great job.
Businesses like Living Water Child Care Center in West Virginia can serve up to 3 meals a day to children, all while giving out donated school supplies and clothing.
I feel it's important for them to have a safe space so they know that they are loved.
Without the federal aid, child care centers worry if they'll have enough funds to support those relying on them. Data from think tank the Century Foundation shows up to 50% of providers in 6 states are at risk of closing down without the additional help, forcing some parents to stay home to watch their young kids instead.
When I say they would have no other option than not to work, they would have no other option.
The federal aid also helped lower care costs for parents, with many now worrying how they'll be able to pay for it. Families and providers are now urging Congress to create permanent funding for child care centers. Marian Rafferty, Fox News.
Boat owners in California are bringing awareness about the increasing wave of thefts of boats. Amber Lee has the story.
The Oakland estuary is a playground for some and a home for people living on boats. But some say it's now a breeding ground for what is being described as a crime spree by pirates.
I probably know of 15 people that have had their small boat stolen. I've owned the business.
Craig Jacobson, owner of Outboard Motor Shop, tells me he chased away thieves who've climbed over a fence in his yard, and more recently, thieves stole parts from his customers' boats anchored at his dock in the middle of the night.
We came in the morning and saw that the boats were broken into and one of our docks was missing.
Hours later, Jacobson says someone saw the stolen dock with all the items that were taken on a flotilla nearby, and Jacobson was able to recover what was taken.
This is an example of some of the illegal anchor routes on the Oakland estuary. 2 boats.
Retired harbor master Brock DeLapp tells me some of the people living on these abandoned vessels are suspected of breaking into boats, stealing them, or other items.
These boats are tens of thousands of dollars, and they're just taken. They remove the outboard motor, they cut up the inflatable and let it sink in the estuary. It's a tragedy.
DeLapp says the lack of enforcement has led to lawlessness. Oakland Police only has 1 officer dedicated to enforcing the law on the estuary. The U.S. Coast Guard says it is working to help police.
Our plan is to increase our presence in the estuary. We intend to have a greater number of randomized on-water patrols.
It's been difficult to get police to show up, and the last one we had to deal with on our own, and we finally did get a few police to show up, and they took somebody away, but it's been challenging to get them to respond to property crime.
We're back with more after this.